Hello everybody, thank you for joining me for part 1 of your weekend love reading for March 20th through March 22nd, 2020. It's a lot of twos, but I'm likely going to have to split this up into 3 parts given how they've gone in the past. So just keep in mind that this reading is going to be intended for Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. It can apply to any aspect of your chart. Even if you do not have one of those placements and you are a cross watcher, I do not judge you, but keep in mind you will have that placement in a house. Not a placement, you will have that sign in one of your houses. We all have all aspects of all signs in our charts. So I hope everybody's had a beautiful week. I did just put out the collective reading. As many of you know, things have been a little bit intense around the world. It's been a little scary for some. It's been a big wake-up call for others in a lot of ways, but I feel like more than anything, this is a very trying time in which we need to do our best to stay calm and find some sense of inner peace and solidity. And so it's my hope that through these readings I can help provide some of that. Given I don't really have any set intention when I go into these readings other than trying to help you find a deeper sense of peace and balance in your life. So that said, I'm going to take a deep breath and then we're going to get right into it. I do implore you to take a deep breath with me so we may connect deeper with our higher selves and spirit. Call it to spirit to please help myself and anyone watching this to see, hear, and know anything we need to see, hear, and know for the weekend of March 20th to 22nd, 2020. I'm going to be using the Book of Thought Tarot. Not Book of Thought, the Dawn Tarot, Dragon Tarot, and Animal Messages as usual. I will timestamp all of the signs below. Keep in mind, time and energy are fluid. This can apply to you, another person, or vice versa, so if it doesn't fit, don't force it. But that said, we're going to get right into it. Hello Aries, hope you're doing well. Keep in mind that this can apply to any Aries placement in your chart. If you are a cross watcher, I do not judge you. But do keep in mind that while you may not have an Aries placement in your chart, you will have Aries in one of your houses. That said, I do implore you to have your chart open while we do this reading. These messages can apply to you, another person, or vice versa, given it is a love reading. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Don't force it if it doesn't fit. So that said, we're going to see what Spirit has in store for you, Aries, for the weekend of March 20th to March 22nd. Saturn actually is moving into Aquarius when I post this reading. So it should be out at that time, so that'll be interesting to see how this energy comes through. So let's see what we have. We have the Emperor. We have 5 of Pentacles and 3 of Cups, along with the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Right off the bat, this does feel like a very assured energy. It does feel like a celebratory energy. It feels like kind of like a similar message that came through for Taurus I think it's a piece of rock, crystal. Similar message that came through for Taurus. The words I'm hearing were, a battle hard won, right? And so what I'm seeing here, the fact that we have the Emperor with the 3 of Cups, that tells me that essentially you've kind of overcome a lot of your egoic tendencies. I feel like there can be a healthy balance with the ego as long as you don't let it control your life. And that's what I'm seeing here with this Ace of Pentacles as the overall energy. It's really speaking to me of coming into a state in which you've finally learned what it means to be balanced and stable within a healthy way within your masculine energy. Keep in mind that, just because it's masculine doesn't mean it's gender specific. We all have divine feminine and masculine energies. Given this as a love reading and there's a 5 of Pentacles here, this can indicate some kind of stagnancy with a divine partnership you may be dealing with. So if you resonate more with the feminine energies, this can apply to the masculine side that you may be dealing with, your divine counterpart. Take that as it resonates. What I'm seeing right now, if this is you or the other person, there is a feeling of wanting to come together. There is a feeling of wanting to celebrate. But the fact that there's a 5 of Pentacles here tells me that there may be changes that are preventing this. Given the current circumstances, I mean, a lot of countries are on lockdown. There's a lot of soft lockdowns going on. I know where I'm at, there's some soft lockdowns in Southern California. And so I really do feel like this is going to not only force us to take a deeper look at ourselves, but it's going to force us to learn to appreciate our relationships in a different way. And that's kind of what this Five of Pentacles feels like to me. It feels like this time of what seems to be stagnation and not moving forward is really just to help you appreciate your counterpart, or appreciate how much you've grown when it comes to wanting to approach love in general. So we're going to clarify a bit here. Let's see. So clarifying the Emperor, we have the King of Cups reverse. Clarifying the Five of Pentacles, we have the King of Pentacles reverse. And clarifying the Three of Cups, we have the Page of Wands. And at the bottom of the deck, clarifying the overall energy, we have the High Priestess. So whenever the High Priestess comes out in a reading, regardless of the nature of the reading, to me that represents the fact that there are lessons being shown to you right now. So it's kind of the deeper workings of the universe card is how I feel that card is. Given that the fact that it is clarifying Ace of Pentacles, there is this feeling of being shown the deeper truths of what it takes to move forward in a healthy masculine way. So that doesn't mean fully embodying a masculine energy, but this essentially is representative of your ability to move forward in a way that isn't toxic, that isn't based off of internalized misogyny. These cards are showing me that you have healed a lot of that. But if we're looking at the aspect of the divine partnership, or this is being another person you may be dealing with, we have the Page of Wands clarifying the Three of Cups. Page of Wands can represent somebody who is, very passionate, wants to send messages of love, wants to come forward and really try to give things a shot. And if this is the energy of this person, there's the Ace of Pentacles and the High Priestess. And so this person is coming to terms with the fact that they do want to give this a try. That masculine counterpart may very well want to give this a try, and they do want to move forward. But the fact that we have King of Pentacles reverse and King of Cups reverse, clarifying both the Emperor and the Five of Pentacles, that tells me that they're in a state of stagnation that came out earlier, but this is like a deeper insight into that. So we have the Cups and we have the Pentacles. Those both represent feminine energy, and given they are in the reverse position, but they are of the King Court card. And so that's telling me that right now they're a very similar message, honestly, that's been coming out for the masculine. It's this energy of the masculine still coming to a deeper sense of balance, wanting to come forward in a way that isn't going to repeat the toxic behaviors that led the situation to get to where it was, given that can go both ways, We're going to pull a clarifying ending message. See if Spirit has any last advice for you for the weekend, March 20th to 22nd. So, final message here, we have the Ray, Stingray. Counter malicious talk by casting its import from your mind. So this so this is speaking to me of, given the fact that we have the Three of Cups and the Page of Wands and these reversals here. So this is essentially telling me that this person is in a state in which there may be friends or family around them that are maybe not agreeing with their choices in love, or they may not fully support them in wanting to move forward, right? So let's say they want to move forward to you, or they want to send you messages of love, or really give things a try. There seems to be opinions outside of your control that are influencing this person, but that's why we have the Ace of Pentacles and the High Priestess as their overall energy. Keep in mind, this could be your energy too, these messages, or vice versa. So I'm feeling like these two kings here may be the people that are trying to prevent this healthy union from coming together. And so I think if this is you and you're a person dealing with this, and you have people in your life that aren't fully supporting you, what it is you want to do, I think one of the biggest lessons and takeaways you can get from this type of energy is essentially learning not to speak about all of your dreams and goals, regardless of whether it's career or in love. You want to be careful about who you tell things to. Oftentimes, people can influence our lives in ways that we may not have foreseen, which can often hold ourselves back. So it's not necessarily people sticking their noses in, stopping us from doing things. So I feel like a lot of the times people are projecting, and they're very unconscious about the ways in which they make us feel unsupported, right? And so it's coming to understand the fact that a lot of those situations and those projections from people, especially in the current social climate, there's a lot of room for projection right now. There's a lot of fear in the collective. There's a lot of panic in the collective. And I think, as somebody who has come to a sense of this balance, which is shown here as you in this reading, it's your responsibility to hold that within yourself and to not take other people's projections personally. But that said, that is all I have for you, Aries. If you would like to book a personal reading, please send me an email to jzargoshepard@gmail.com. I love you so much, and I hope you have a beautiful weekend. Try to stay safe out there, stay home as much as you can, and try not to panic too much. Hello, Taurus. I hope you're doing well. Keep in mind that this reading can apply to any aspect of your chart. If it does not fit, do not force it. Even if you do not have a Taurus placement and you are a cross-watcher, I do not judge you. Just keep in mind that you will have Taurus in one of your houses. That said, I do implore you to have your chart open while we do this reading. These messages can apply to you, another person, or vice versa, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. That said, you see what Spirit has in store for you for the weekend of March 20th to 22nd, 2020 in love. So we already had that Three of Cups that just came flying out. And then we have the Prince of Pentacles reverse, the Seven of Cups, and then at the bottom of the deck, overall energy, we have the Three of Pentacles. So, alright, Spirit's telling me to take this. The Ace of Swords was in reverse under that one, and so I'm taking it. And then the Hermit is being called to me too. So this is kind of like the overall energy that's really coming through right now. I don't always take extra bottom of the deck cards, but when it seems to be relevant and Spirit tells me to, I often listen because the messages will come through anyways. So taking a look at this overall energy, since that seems to be what's at the forefront of this reading right now. As you know, if you watch my readings, Three of Pentacles to me represents balance, represents mental, emotional, and spiritual balance, with the Hermit and the Ace of Swords in reverse. So the Hermit with the Three of Pentacles is representing you in this state of, I don't want to say isolation, because it's not, I feel like isolation has a weird connotation to it. And so I like to use voluntary solitude, right? Even though considering the circumstances, there isn't always a lot of voluntary solitude. You may be in quarantine or lockdown. I really wouldn't be surprised if this is what continues to come out for most, if not all, the readings I'm doing. A lot of the readings I've been watching, that's just been the energy that's coming out, because that's what all of us are going through as a collective. And I feel like this energy is not only going to help us come to a deeper sense of balance within ourselves, it is a huge healing period. Given Saturn is moving into Aquarius during this time, it is a really good time to slow down and reevaluate where it is you want to move forward in life once all of this clears up, right? But not only is it going to help us deeper within ourselves, but it's going to help us connect deeper with each other, develop a deeper sense of compassion for everybody's struggles. So it's very interesting to see how this energy is playing out when it comes to collective and individual healing. But the fact that we have the Ace of Swords reverse here, clarifying this overall energy as well. Ace of Swords often represents, the sort of truth, mental clarity, but given it is in the reverse, to me this represents a lack of clarity. And the fact that you're in this kind of voluntary solitude phase, that's essentially going to help you come to a sense of clarity. Because we have the Seven of Pentacles and the Prince of Pentacles reverse. And what this is telling me is that you may not be understanding where it is you want to move forward, but you know you want to move forward. Specifically, given this is a love reading, this can represent that you do want to develop a relationship with somebody, but you may be in a space of taking a step back and reevaluating what it is you value out of a relationship and what it is you really need out of a relationship, right? Because we have the Three of Cups, and the Three of Cups is always a beautiful card to get to me in a love reading. It can represent third-party energy. It really doesn't feel like that. To me, the Cup energy as a 3 is very similar to the Three of Pentacles energy. While it can be a celebratory card referring to friends, family, given what you may be in the solitary phase with people that you live with, right? So this can represent taking this time to kind of take a step back from the pressures of wanting to be in a relationship and really just enjoying the people that are around you, really learning to enjoy yourself, your own solitude, and really taking time to take care of yourself. Because I feel like a lot of us before these circumstances came to be, We were such a fast-paced moving society, but now that everything is coming to a screeching halt, quite honest, we're being forced to really take a look at what it is we truly enjoy and what really makes us happy outside of what we think we should be doing and feeling like we always have to be doing something. It's like the universe is giving us permission right now to really take that time to slow down. And that's what's coming through for you, Taurus. So let's kind of clarify this here. We have the Eight of Cups, clarifying the Three of Cups. We have the Four of Wands reversed, clarifying the Prince of Pentacles, clarifying the Seven of Cups. We do have the Star reversed. And I'll take the bottom of the deck energy to clarify these again. So it's the Fool, right? So if we're taking a look at the Fool as this overall energy here, the Fool to me, it can represent new beginnings, going off on adventures, but given the circumstances and the overall energy that's being clarified here, there's this feeling of exploring yourself in a deeper way and learning things about yourself that you may not have been aware of because you were so focused on what it is you needed to do to be in a healthy relationship, or you were so focused on like trying to be better for somebody else that you forgot what it meant to be better for you. And so that's kind of what's coming through right now, because we have the Four of Wands reversed, clarifying this Prince of Pentacles reversed. The Four of Wands here represents spiritual union. It can represent, it's like the marriage card in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. But the fact that we have this Star reversed next to it, it's really just speaking of the delays. I mean, Four of Wands reversed often refers to delays in love or relationships. And so if there's somebody that, it feels like there's somebody that you have on your mind, this can represent you because it is a pentacle, it's a Prince of Pentacles. But if it's representing another person with this Four of Wands in reverse, this may be representing the stagnancy and the holding back and the need for enjoying other aspects of life and not placing so much of your eggs in one basket, or not placing all of your happiness in one person. And that's what's indicated here to me by the Star. And in order to get clarity on what it is you're seeking clarity on, honestly, there's the sense of needing to take this time to yourself. The Star in reverse to me represents you're not listening to your intuition enough. The universe is trying to orchestrate events in your life to get you to see things. You may be getting repetitive messages and signs, and that's often because we're not fully getting the message. It's not always confirmation, but sometimes it's the universe's way of getting us to see things from a different perspective in a way that's going to help us come into a deeper sense of balance. And I use the word balance a lot because that's really just one of the core foundational operations of the universe. It's balance, like organized chaos. So, but I'm really interested here in this Eight of Cups, given it's clarifying the Three of Cups. Because the Eight of Cups to me can represent, the road to fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, but it also represents like a lack of fulfillment to me for some reason, because it's not a full 10, right? And the 10 in tarot often is seen as like the completion of a cycle or the ending of a karmic cycle. And so I was really, really drawn to the numerological implications of this, because we have the 8 and the 3 that comes out to 11, which boils down to a 2, but if you want to keep it at 11 as a master number, so this represents you in a phase of really facing a major life lesson and turning point. Given the fact that this reading comes out right when Saturn moves into Aquarius, that's also the energy that's coming through here. There's a sense of you're really leveling up internally, so that way when things start to shift externally, you're in a place in which you're going to be able to manage that. You're not going to feel so lost, right? So let's clarify this for you. We're going to get one last pull for you here, Taurus. Use the animal messages. So last message for you, Taurus, we have the bat. This has been coming out a lot lately. So the bat says you have the power to transcend failure and move into a limitless future. To me, the bat represents, it's like a manifestation card. And it fully represents this overall energy that's going on right here, the lesson you may be facing. It's essentially learning to trust your intuition and the messages of the universe more than what you're seeing in the physical. Because if you know anything about bats, they use echolocation to travel. So they're not able to see very well. They're not blind, but it's difficult for them to see well enough to the point where they need to use sound to be able to travel. And what this represents to me in the context of the situation is really going inwards and deciphering, like, the messages you get from what you think you're getting, because a lot of those things may be, thoughts you have taken on from other people, or just influences from other people, like meshed with your own perceptions of the world. And then, spirit's messages come in, and a lot of the times you need to disconnect and clear your energy to be able to fully interpret the deepest meanings of the lessons that are coming through for you. Whether it's through your meditations or it's through the signs that you're getting, like angel numbers or songs, like lyrics and songs or what have you, right? But this energy right now is really just looking like some solitude. It's been the message coming through for a while now. That's really all I have for you. Just take time for yourself, and don't be afraid to take a step back when you need to take a step back, honestly. But I love you so much, Taurus. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. If you'd like to book a personal reading, please send me an email to jzargoshepard@gmail.com. Please stay safe out there. Stay home as much as you can. But I love you all so much, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Gemini. Thank you for joining me for your weekend love reading. Keep in mind this can apply to any Gemini placement you have in your charts. If you are a cross-watcher, I do not judge you. But keep in mind that while you may not have a Gemini placement, you will have Gemini in one of your houses. That said, I do implore you to have your chart open while we do this reading. Time and energy are fluid, so these messages can apply to you or another person or vice versa. So don't force it if it doesn't fit, and take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But that said, we're going to cut the deck and see what Spirit has in store for you for March 20th to the 22nd, 2020. So we have the Fool, we have Five of Swords, Three of Cups. Three of Cups has come out for every single reading I've done for this weekend. It came out for Aries, Taurus, and now you, Gemini. So we have the Prince of Wands. So this is a really interesting energy here, because it's almost contradictory between the Five of Swords and the Three of Cups, if we're looking at the Three of Cups in the way I'm looking at it. But if I kind of shift my perspective, maybe it can represent, like a kind of third-party type of energy is actually what I'm picking up on. With the Five of Swords can represent conflict due to that. But given we do have the Prince of Wands as the overall energy, Prince of Wands can represent somebody who wants to ride forward, they want to send messages of love. This can represent you, but I'm feeling like this is another person you may be dealing with. And so, this makes a little bit more sense now, because if we're taking this into consideration, given this may be a masculine energy you may be dealing with, Wands are of the masculine energy, we have the Fool and the Three of Cups. And the Fool to me represents somebody who does want to take a chance on something. It's very similar to an Ace type of energy. It's the first card in the Major Arcana. And the fact that we have the Three of Cups with that card here is telling me that this person does want to give things a try, but there are these swords in the middle, right? And so what I find interesting about this card here is we have three hands, and so two of the hands are each holding two swords. Two of Swords in the tarot represents peace, like coming to a sense of understanding, like a truce, but the fact that there is an Ace of Swords in between that, making it a Five of Swords, there is a type of conflict type of energy, there is a mental fog type of energy that may be preventing this person from wanting to move forward in the way that you are perceiving. But let's clarify this a little bit and try to get a deeper understanding as to what's going on here. And keep in mind, this can apply to you or another person. So if this resonates with you, definitely take what's coming through. So clarifying the Fool, we have the Three of Wands, which is nice. And then we have Knight of Cups and the Three of Swords. That's interesting. And then this Page of Swords. I always think that's the star card in this deck. So I'm drawn to the Knight of Cups and Three of Wands. This, to me, is telling me somebody who is feeling optimistic about coming forward. Knight of Cups can represent somebody very similar to the Prince of Wands, but the Prince of Wands can represent somebody who is very fleeting, very I don't want to say immature, but just fresh to love, if that makes sense. Somebody who doesn't necessarily have a lot of experience or a lot of the lessons integrated that's going to help them come forward in a way that isn't not shady, I can't think of the word particularly, but just somebody who, like, they may not be fully sure of themselves, I guess is what's coming through. And it's similar to the Knight of Cups, but the Knight of Cups to me represents somebody who has a lot more emotion to give than the Prince of Wands. And this could actually represent you and another person, because cups are feminine energy, even though it is a knight. It's not gender specific, so the cups could be the feminine energy, the wands could be the masculine energy, but we also have the Page of Swords here, and the swords does also represent masculine energy. And so what I'm seeing here is it's this person is kind of waiting from a distance. They're watching from a distance. They may be actually healing from a lot of their own heartbreak, which is what I'm seeing here with the Three of Swords and the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords makes a little more sense now, because while this person may feel like the Knight of Cups and the Three of Wands, like they do want to come forward, they're excited, they're optimistic, there's a Three of Cups, they're feeling passionate. The reason that they may not be coming forward, or if there does seem to be any kind of stagnancy, it's because there's a Three of Swords, because there's a deep healing going on. Let's see here, we're going to get one last closing message for you. Spirit, what do we have here for, I almost said Aries, for Gemini? One last closing message. Using animal messages. So we have the hippopotamus. I haven't gotten this card before. I've seen it in the deck, but I haven't gotten it. So it says, friends stand close by to shield you from life's adversities. Yeah, so this, I think right now, in the context of this reading with this card here, it's saying that right now is a good time to support each other in any way you can, but also, like, keep in mind that you should take time for yourself. So if this is somebody that you are interested in, you are talking to, understand that if they are going through their healing process, just be there for them when you can, and don't take it personally, like if they need time to move slower, or if they need to move slower, if they need time to heal, just don't hold that against them, because everybody heals at their own pace. If this is applying to you, keep in mind that you are allowed to take your time to heal, especially right now during the circumstances when you may have a lot more downtime. That's a big reason I feel like this is happening, not only for the individual experience, but for the collective healing, right? So take this time. Again, similar message for Taurus and even Aries that came through, support each other where you can, but make sure to take enough time to yourself to where you're not giving so much of yourself, right? You don't want to give from an empty cup, to be cliche. You want to make sure your cup is full. You want to be sure you can fill your own cup, so you don't need this other person to fill your cup. And by doing so, you strengthen the relationship and deepen the bond. But that's all I have for you, Gemini. I don't know why I keep almost saying Aries. This is like the second time I almost said Aries during your reading. But I hope you have a beautiful week, and I hope you stay safe and calm out there. If you'd like to book a personal reading, please send me an email to jzargoshepard@gmail.com. Hello, Cancer. Hope you're doing well. Keep in mind this can apply to any Cancerian placement you have in your chart. If you are a cross-watcher, I do not judge you, but keep in mind that you will have Cancer in one of your houses. That said, I do implore you to have your chart open while we do this reading. Keep in mind that these time and energy are fluid, so these messages can apply to you, another person, or vice versa, so don't force it if it doesn't fit. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But let's see what Spirit has in store for you in love for the weekend of March 20th to 22nd, 2020. So we have Four of Wands reverse. I believe that came out for Gemini. We have the Queen of Pentacles. And we have Judgment. But we also have the Princess of Cups at the bottom of the deck. And Spirit is drawing me to take this King of Swords here and this Two of Cups, clarifying these two. So, given it's a love reading, it just kind of made sense to pull those out along with it. Spirit was guiding me to do it. So Four of Wands reverse. That actually feels like the overall energy. While the Princess of Cups is the overall energy, this feels like the overall energy, because the Four of Wands reverse to me represents stagnation, delays, especially in terms of relationships, given we do have a King and a Queen here. We have the King of Swords, Swords, masculine energy, Queen of Pentacles, Pentacles being feminine energy. This could be a counterpart situation, soulmates, twin flames, whatever you want to look at it as. Take it as it resonates. But the fact that there's a Two Cups between these two people, this can represent the external relationship, but can also represent the inner union of your masculine and feminine energies, which is something that comes up a lot in these readings. But given we have the Princess of Cups as the overall energy, Princess of Cups represents somebody who is really like taking that leap of faith, right? Moving forward on like leading with the heart. That makes sense. Not making all of your decisions heart-based, but really learning to listen to your heart. which I feel like is why we have the Judgment here and why there are delays, because there is a sense to need to move forward in a way that is authentic to what is true in your heart, opposed to what you think is right or what you think you should be doing. There's a very quick message came through with those, so let's clarify. Do 3 shuffles. So clarifying the 4 of Wands, we have 4 of Wands in the upright. Clarifying these 2, we have the 2 of Cups, clarifying the 2 of Cups. We have the 9 of Wands, clarifying Judgment, 9 of Wands reverse. Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck, reverse, clarifying the overall energy. So I've come to start applying the idea that if I get the same cards, that means that there's another aspect of the lesson that I'm not learning, but not giving across, or it can represent the fact that there's multiple situations coming through. But what I find really interesting is when we get an upright clarifying a reverse. So I'm essentially seeing like a timeline here, and what I'm seeing with this 4 of Wands and the 2 of Cups, since they're clarifying each other, there is a decision to be made on whether to move forward. But it's feeling like these people do want to move forward, whether it's you or another person. It feels like there is a general consensus in which you both want to move forward. Though what is interesting to me is the fact that there's a Page of Swords and 9 of Wands reverse. And so what I'm feeling with these is it's like there's the energy that you've been waiting for so long. That's what it feels like. It's like I'm tired of waiting. It's kind of what's coming through. Page of Swords in the upright can represent somebody looking from afar, watching from a distance, maybe a little bit timid on whether to come forward. But the fact that that's clarifying the Princess of Cups and that there is some kind of timeline here, it's feeling like this person, whether it's you or this other person, are coming out of that stage of wanting to hold back. And so there's this sense of like wanting to move forward. But the 9 of Wands in the reverse here tells me that there is a little bit of heaviness that is still being worked through, whether that's from past relationships or what you both have been through. There's a need to process that before fully moving forward. But understanding that you don't have to just like isolate yourself from this person, right? It's open communication can help move these things along a lot more smoothly than you think. But let's get a closing message here for you, Cancer. We're gonna do one more shuffle. So what do we got? We have Scorpion. I like this card. I like Scorpions. So we have Scorpion. It says, in a new relationship, passion offers the challenge of ecstasy and pain. So now I'm kind of understanding why we have 2 of Cups, right? To me, this is represent the dualistic nature of relationships. You do have the beautiful, spiritual, and deepened, bonds, but this is essentially a reminder that every single relationship is going to have problems. Not necessarily like as worse as some other ones, but this is a reminder that yes, there are going to be problems. So if you're having problems with this person now, you need to understand that this is part of being in a relationship with this person. You cannot fully change people. Sometimes you have to learn to accept people in some of their quirks, and that goes both ways. And I think that's really a nice closing message here. It's to recognize that you both are going to have things that you may not like about each other, but it's learning to accept that if you do want to be with this person. But that's all I have for you, Cancer. I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope you stay safe out there. A beautiful weekend, excuse me. It is raining where I am, so I kind of enjoy the rain, but it's nice because we're kind of on lockdown anyways. Aside from the point, stay safe out there, stay calm. I love you so much. If you'd like to book a personal reading, please send me an email to jzargoshepard@gmail.com. But that said, this does conclude part 1 of the weekend love reading. I will be splitting this up into 3 parts as usual. And yes, I love you all so much. I will see you in part 2. Bye-bye.